Happy Tuesday, Year 3! Welcome to today's literacy learning, and we are carrying on with our story of George's Marvellous Medicine. But you know the drill. You know what happens first before every lesson, and that is to give a big superstar shout out to my superstars for today. And it was so difficult to choose not one, not two, not three, but I had to choose 4. So well done to Olivia. You presented your contraction spellings brilliantly and you got them all right. Zane, your whiteboard work is brilliant. Sometimes this is just important as your purple bookwork, so well done for writing some great similes. Kelsey, just look at the presentation of your work and I can see that you may not have a whiteboard at home, so you do your whiteboard work in your book, but you still do it so neat. And Jessica, the same goes for you. No wonder why you have got a pen licence. So, well done to you 4. Okay, it's time to get those big brains warmed up with yours, Year 3. And your warm-up today includes your whiteboard and your whiteboard pen. So if you haven't got those, make sure you go and get them now. Okay, so we're going to use a little bit of yesterday's learning. What were we learning about in our literacy? I'm sure it was about alliteration. So alliteration is where your words all start with the same letter or the same sound. Okay, so let's have a look at what I want you to write your alliteration about. So we've got a beetle. Oh, I don't like beetles. And we've got some mud. So you know your alliteration has to start with a B for the beetle and an M or a M for the mud. And I want you to write at least 3 ingredients that could go in George's Marvellous Medicine. Okay, but I don't want you to just say, oh, a boring beetle or messy mud. I want you to use your 2A sentences. So Miss Morgan's got some examples here. For the beetle, I have wrote the brittle, bumpy beetle. Have I used alliteration? I have. And messy, mouldy mud. Oh, that would be gross, wouldn't it? And don't forget what punctuation needs to go in between those adjectives. Your commas. Well done. Okay, so I want at least 3 similes. Let's see if anybody can write more than 3. Off you go. Okay, make sure you have taken pictures of your fantastic alliteration, and then maybe I will choose the best ones to show to everybody on our lesson. Okay, so you're learning for Tuesday the 9th of February. We've got quite a long learning question today, so let's make sure we read it very carefully, Year 3, together. Okay, big voices. Can I choose an appropriate time conjunction for Miss Morgan's Marvellous Medicine instructions? Oh, that was a bit of a tongue twister, wasn't it? Because it was so wrong. Okay, so we know that appropriate means that it's right, okay? It feels right. Time conjunction, we've done loads of time conjunctions, Year 3. Time conjunctions tell us when. I hope you shouted when to that video. For Miss Morgan's Marvellous Medicine instructions. I'm sure you know what instructions are, but if not, we will talk about those in a bit. Okay, so don't forget that time conjunctions tell the reader when something is happening, and we've got some examples here. Then, later, meanwhile. Where do some of our time conjunctions go in our sentence as well, Year 3? Do they go at the beginning? Do they go in the middle? Or do they go at the end? Have a think to our literacy lessons. If you said they go at the beginning, you are right. However, they can go in the middle of a sentence as well. But we will be using them at the beginning, okay? So I hope you're ready because you have a purple book task coming up next. Oh, I wonder if anybody can guess what is on the board behind me by looking at the picture here. Yes, I have got lots of time conjunctions. But Year 3, what do you notice about my time conjunctions? They've got lots of letters missing. Okay, so it is our first task for today to find those missing letters in our time conjunctions. So think, time conjunctions tell us when. So, is my word going to say table? No, table doesn't tell us when. Could one of my words say next? Yes, because that is telling me when I'm going to do something or when the character in a story is going to do something. Okay, so our task is find the missing letters to reveal the time conjunctions. So hold your horses, Year 3. I want to show you how I would like it presented in your purple books first, okay? Just before I show you, let's do our first one together so we understand what we are doing today. Okay, so I already have lots of letters here and I know it's got to be a time conjunction and it spells M-E-A, missing letter, W-H, missing letter, L-E. So this will make a me sound and this will make a w-o. Me, is it meanwhile? Well done if you got that correct. Let's see if it is. So I know I spell mean while. It's got a sound in. So that missing letter must be in there. I'll. Will it be a Y, Year 3? Because it's making an I sound. No, it will be an I. And is that a time conjunction? Meanwhile? Yes, it is. Okay, so now I will show you how I want it presented in your purple books. Just like magic again, Year 3, I have appeared in my seat. Okay, so I have found the next clean page in my purple book and I have written Tuesday, the 9th of February, spelt like February. And for my title today, I have written time conjunctions because that is what we are learning about today. And I have used a capital letter for both of my words. And I have used my ruler to underline them carefully. Okie doke, so if you noticed on the board before, our time conjunctions with the missing letters were numbered. So I'm going to write number 1 first, but what must I do first? I must leave a line so it's presented lovely and neat. And if you notice, Year 3, I write my numbers in front of the margin. How naughty is that? But I will allow it because it looks very good. Okay, so number 1, I'm sure, what was my time conjunction? What was it? Meanwhile. Well done. Okay, so in my best joined up handwriting, I am going to get my spelling correct and write mean while. Okay. And for number 2, I would like you to miss a line and to put your next time conjunction on this line. Okay, so let's see how many we have in total. We have 8 to do. Okay, so I will leave these on the board for you now. I have helped you with the first one. So now it's your job to go through these and think, ooh, what letters could I put there? If you are unsure, just have a go on your whiteboard first and see what all the possibilities are. Remember, they are all time conjunctions. Okay, so I would like it presented how I have put, and off you go, Year 3. Hit pause on the video. Okay, before I reveal the answers, Year 3, so that you can either correct them or give them a big tick if they are right, make sure you have done your work first, okay, or had a good go at them. Let's find out what the answers are, what our time conjunctions are. Okay, so our first one we had meanwhile. The second one is after. Number 3, eventually. Oh, that was from our learning last week. Number 4 is next. Number 5 is finally. Number 6 is afterwards. And number 7 and 8, I think were quite difficult. We have first and second, and we use those time conjunctions a lot in instructions. Well done if you got them right. If not, just make sure you correct them next to the words. Okay, Year 3. I'm sure you know what instructions are, but if you don't, make sure you are listening up now, because I'm going to tell you that instructions tell us how to do something. So like your teacher tells you how to do something, they tell you, okay? And I've got a question for you. Does your marvellous medicine need instructions in order to make it? Well, no, well, I've got ingredients and I know how to make my marvellous medicine. But what if somebody else wants to make your marvellous medicine? You are going to have to write them instructions to instruct them or tell them what to do. Okay, so at home we have something called a recipe book where it tells us how to make food. You may have a microwave meal that gives you instructions on the back of how to heat it up, or we have instructions on how to build things like tables. Hit pause on the video now and see if you can find some instructions in your house. You might have a lot on some food. Year 3, I'm a little bit ahead of you and I have written my very own instructions or recipe for my marvellous medicine, and that's what you will be doing on either Thursday or Friday. So this is going to help us to write our very own. Okay, so this is my instructions, okay? And it's got a title because I need to tell people what they are going to make. And my title is How to Make Miss Morgan's Marvellous Medicine. And it stands out, doesn't it? Okay, and I've got a bit of a question underneath. Can anybody remember what this is called? It's an introduction to the instructions. Have you ever wondered if there was a magical medicine that could make you as strong as a superhero? Question mark. Use these instructions to make your very own at home. And I have included my ingredients, Year 3. You will need, are you ready for this? These are disgusting. Bulging, bumpy brains, creepy, crunchy caterpillars, slithery, slimy snakes, and a mountain of mouldy maggots. Ugh, disgusting. What special grammar have I used there? I have used alliteration. Okay, and I've also put you need a furry foul fork, a large lumpy pan, and a dirty dingy mug. Ugh, gross. Okay, so this is the most important part of my instructions, so make sure you are looking closely and we can read the instructions together. Maybe you could make Miss Morgan's marvellous medicine. Okay, number 1. First, tip an enormous amount of bulging bumpy brains into a large lumpy pan. Number 2, second, add a soft sprinkle of creepy crunchy caterpillars on top of the bulging brains. Ugh. Number 3, next, grab a foul furry fork and ensure that the bulging bumpy brains are crushed. You should hear the caterpillars squish. Ew. Number 4, after that, take some slithering, slimy snakes and squeeze them until a delightful dash of sour, smelly snake sauce drips over the pan. Leave the messy mixture to simmer for 10 minutes. Lots of alliteration in that. Number 5, meanwhile, take a mouldy mountain of maggots and carefully crumble them into a dingy, dirty mug. 6, eventually your messy mixture will be ready to serve. Perfectly pour your messy mixture into a crummy cup. Finally, sprinkle the mouldy maggots on top of your marvellous medicine. If you would like a hint of spice, then soak your messy mixture overnight in some juicy, jiggly jellyfish. Bon appetit. Oh, that was gross. Okay, so you will be making your very own instructions, like I say, on Thursday or Friday, but I have a task for you to do today first. Year 3, I hope that you have found my recipe disgusting for my marvellous medicine. Okay, so now you have a whiteboard and pen tasks, so make sure you've got those before we go any further with the video, so hit pause if you haven't. But if you have, okay, we are going to find the time conjunctions in Miss Morgan's Marvellous Medicine recipe. Now remember, time conjunctions tell us when. Well done. Okay, so you are going to find the time conjunctions in this recipe. Now think, where do time conjunctions go in a sentence? Do they go at the beginning, the middle, or the end? Most of the time they go at the beginning, and sometimes they can go in the middle. So you are going to find the time conjunctions and then write them on your whiteboard. So I will find the first one with you. And in fact, it is there straight away. First. I know that's a time conjunction because it's telling me to do something first. It's telling me to do it when. So I will get my white ball pen and I will write a bullet point, and I'm going to write my time conjunction first. Now, what's special about a time conjunction? What punctuation goes after it? There's a big clue on my recipe, a comma. So I want you to write your comma after the time conjunction. I wonder if you can find the next time conjunction in my recipe. Okay, so I'm going to have my eye out to see who can find all of them and writes them all on their whiteboard. Okay, so off you go, Year 3. Okay, before I reveal the answers, make sure that you have written all of them down on your whiteboard and taken a picture. Okay, so I have highlighted all of my time conjunctions in my instructions in my recipe. Okay, so well done if you notice all the time conjunctions at the beginning. So what does that tell you about instructions? You must include time conjunctions at the beginning of each instruction. And then a double well done if you have found the time conjunctions then and until. You are telling somebody to do it then, and you are telling somebody to do it until you have done something else. So well done if you got those ones, Year 3. Thumbs up for getting through today's learning, Year 3. And we are finally on our last task now. Oh, I used a time conjunction then. I used the word finally. Okay, so listen carefully because this is what I want you to do. So on my board here, I have got my recipe, my instructions, okay, but I've shortened them a little bit so you can see them clearly. And I've got some words missing. And where my missing words are where I have some lines, okay? So all of my lines, most of my lines start my sentences for my instructions. So what do you think they are going to be? What's so special about instructions at the beginning of a sentence? They start with a time conjunction, okay? But you are going to choose your own time conjunctions to put in. In fact, you can use your work from earlier, your time conjunctions, to help you. Okay, so I'll do the first one with you, Year 3. Now, number 1, I'm sure if I'm giving somebody their first instruction, I can use the time conjunction first. Now, I must use a capital letter. And what must I use after my time conjunction? I hope you're shouting out a comma to the video. Luckily, Miss Morgan has already put that comma in there for you to remind you. But I've got some other words missing, Year 3. Let's read the sentence to see what word we can put in the missing line. First, tip an enormous amount of bulging, bumpy brains into a something lumpy pan. And in my marvellous medicine, I want to use alliteration. So I want to use an adjective to describe my pan that starts with a L or an L. What adjective could I use to describe a lumpy pan? A large lumpy pan. Okay. A lame lumpy pan. What else could I use? Have a good think, but I'm going to use a large lumpy pan because I need to fit all of my ingredients in there. Okay, Year 3, this is exactly how I would like it presented in your book. So you can see I've done my first task there. I've left a line and I have written the title, Miss Morgan's Instructions, and I have underlined that carefully. So what was my task? My task was to copy out the instructions on the board, but to fill in the missing words, okay? The missing time conjunctions and the missing adjectives. So we did this one together, Year 3. We wrote first as our time conjunction, and then we chose large as our adjective to make sure we have some alliteration in our instructions, okay? So large, lumpy. And in fact, what I've done, Year 3, is I've highlighted my words that I have put in. If you haven't got a highlighter though, you could underline these words. So I would like you to do that to show me and to show your Year 3 teachers where you have put in your time conjunction or your adjective. Okay, so for my second instruction, I've copied it out in my neatest handwriting, and I chose the time conjunction second because it is my second instruction. I want the person to do that after the first one. And I've made sure I've got my comma. It says, add a soft sprinkle of something, something, caterpillars. Now I know that caterpillars starts with a C. So I need two adjectives that start with a C. Ooh, I remember in my recipe, I chose crunchy, creepy. You could have crawling, that starts with a C. What else could you have? You could have chunky, that starts with a CH. Okay, so make sure you write in those adjectives after and underline them or highlight them. Okay, and just before you start your work, Year 3, I want to ask you, what would you put for your last time conjunction? Can you see that we have our time conjunction missing there? Think back to your words in your book. Would you use next at the end? I mean, you could, but what would be a better choice at the end? Okay, so really think about what is the most appropriate time conjunction to use. Okay, so hit pause on the video now so that you can copy my instructions out in your neatest handwriting, and don't forget to highlight or underline your missing words, okay? And then I will see you now that you've finished your work, Year 3, or I hope you have, and if you haven't, make sure you pause your video now because I'm going to reveal the answers that I have put in mine, okay? And then you can edit your work or correct it if it needs correcting, okay? So this is what I've included in my instructions. These are the time conjunctions I have chosen: first, second, next, after that, eventually, and finally. Are they appropriate time conjunctions? Yes, I think they are. And they all have a comma after them. I chose creepy, crunchy caterpillars. And I also chose smelly snake sauce. And then I chose mouldy maggots. I can't wait to see what you have chosen. And then I will see you tomorrow for Wednesday's literacy learning, okay? So see you then. Bye.